issues, mental illness. And what I mean by this is I'm specifically referring to the AI stalker game that people of today are playing, low lifes of today are playing, um, for control, clout, money, drugs, whatever it is. And what I mean by AI causes mental illness is if you've ever played one of those games that gives you the little dopamine rewards on, like, say Facebook or whatever, when Zynga used to have a bunch of games. I think Zynga may have actually been sued over it because it was addicting and they were like charging people, I think, and collecting money unknowingly, something like that. I got to look more into that lawsuit before, don't quote me on it. But I do believe they were sued for something similar, whereas like they knew it was addictive. And let me look into that again before I get too far into talking about that. But this this AI stalker game that I believe a lot of Los Angelinos have access to and maybe playing is causing mental illness. And what I mean by that is before, I want to say before this game, or at least before I was targeted, before I noticed, people used to put their phones away. There was not, phones were not attached to your hand. Some people had their phones attached to their hands, but there was a good percentage of people who would still uh, focus on the world in front of them and put their phones away. Um, I want to say around the time of the pandemic that phone reliance shifted. So instead of being able to put their phone away, the phone became an attachment to their hand and their extremity. It never got put away. It never even got put down for a lot of people. So when I say the AI stalker game is a mental illness, having your phone attached to your hand like that is a mental illness. Who is going, are you so important that you have to walk around with 5G going into your hand and body at every single minute of your life? Nobody is that important. We used to have pagers and business still got done. Business still got done with payphones and pagers and landlines. It still got done, and more so, honestly, with the introduction of technology, you introduce so many opportunities for fraud. I I think that the pandemic may have been a socially engineered event to create the best environment. Yep. Talk about it. Talk about. Oh, I came back on here to say this is probably the easiest, cheapest way for them to monitor me is have me just go on the live and have the live run all night. It's like a babysitter. They get to know exactly where I'm at, what the fuck I'm doing, and they don't even gotta stand there and watch. So here you go, you fucking nerds. Listen to me snoring shit. You're so addicted. When are you gonna start paying me? Uh, so like I said, one day when the DOJ gets their hands on this video and decides that they want to actually do something for the people, um, they can take a look into some of the apps that people are using. You can take a look into some of the text messages and chat rooms people are using to see what kind of conversations are being had about the targeted individuals. Like, right now, I've had 3 credit cards expire, and I should have received new credit cards already, but for whatever reason, I have not received them. So I don't know if someone really thinks that they are going to use my shit or if they're just trying to inconvenience me. Uh, but it's designed to make me freak out and be all pissy and blame people for stealing my shit. But I actually think that my mail was supposed to be forwarded, but it got returned to sender because my forwarding address is over. So I have to go fix that. Or it's possible somebody stole them. Either way, there's not much money. Not like they can do anything with it. Uh, I got honeypot cards, like accounts with no money in it, and then I transfer money in just so I could use a card that's not connected to anything that has any money. So then when you guys do go and try to steal my information when I'm doing my transactions, whatever card's information you get is a card that has no money saved on it. So keep following me around like the dumbasses you are. You got all my accounts, but all of them got 2FA. And then what happens is you guys do all of that, make me set up 2FA on everything, and then fuck up my phone, so then I'm locked out of everything. So then I have to have a hard time doing everything all over again. And then that's a plan on how you eliminate people, because then it fucks up their work. They can't get in to do work shit, and then they can't do this, and then their life, and then you're like laughing, ha ha ha, destroy this person's life. But your life ain't shit because you're a drug addict, you're a pedophile, you're like doing all the things God told you not to do, and you think that you deserve to live or you need to live for whatever reason, and you don't. Like, imagine, so those things, it's like right now the world is turning into what if the depressed people took over? And that's where we're at. We need the non-depressed people to get back in the shit. Like, we need to get you a bigger pen cup or something, because we need to put them all together. Maybe that'll fix my pen desk line. still here. You guys still babysitting. I got my babysitter online. Human trafficking at its finest. We're doing a live babysit show right now because they want to make sure I stay in my apartment or that they got eyes on me 24/7. So they've realized the pattern of me going on the live, and they do things that makes me make a live. And then they don't gotta watch me because I'm talking. It's giving them stuff for them to go gossip about because their lives suck. Did you hear that? You gotta talk about me because your life sucks that bad. Um, and that is why I have to be babysat 24/7 by the people stalking me. So I'm gonna be like this because I have to have my door open because it smells like dookie water, like drug water, and I don't want to be locked up in my apartment with that stinky water smell. So I have to stay on the live for my own safety. In the event anything happens, I want to make sure it's captured. Um, and this is what filling up my bathtub does. This is the stupidest neighbor ever. I'm perfectly safe. Safety is an illusion. You're not safe walking outside your house. You're not safe walking down the stairs. There's nothing that's fucking safe. Right? You got a 50-50 chance of some shit happening to you everywhere you go. So I'm not worried about safety. Yeah. Right? Like, I was watching this video about the Google video with I can't believe that it's executive. How do you become an executive and you still act like your ass is in fucking high school? But anyway, the Google executives and all the people that they got involved to stalk these people and do all this weird shit to these random ass people. It just shows you how gross people in power are when they have money. Um, they think that they can eliminate people just because they have the funds to do so. The funds, and it's basically just the funds because you could pay anybody to do anything for you. Like, if somebody wanted information about me and they knew I was going somewhere, they could go talk to one person at that location and be like, I'll give you $300 if you tell me what time she gets here. And then that's what the proxy stalking is. She's going to come out around 2 p.m. Tell me which direction she walked. And so that's why I'm followed from the minute I leave my apartment until the minute I get home. That's why we have to do the live right now, because they need voice files and all kinds of shit that makes me look crazy. So here it is, buddies. They're not going to make me fear speaking. The voice file is designed to make so who think about who, what, where, why, when. Who is targeted? People like journalists who speak out on shit, whistleblowers, people with big mouths usually are targeted. And then I know I'm crazy, definitely, because I'm going to keep talking about this shit till they kill me. So people with large mouths are targeted. And then the society's tactic of trying to silence them is to get hundreds of thousands of members that they pay to go around and tell them, we're trying to get a voice file, we're trying to get a voice file. So what happens is, if you're thinking about this psychologically, if somebody is followed around in their daily life, and this has been proven by other people who have actual lawsuits against the people who did this to them, which is why I don't need to do anything, because it's already been addressed and nobody's doing anything about it. So I'm just going to talk about it. So these people will follow you around doing these awful things to you in order to make you fear for your life, fear for your safety. Stop talking about whatever it is that you were talking about that got you into this situation in this first place. Like symbols of white supremacy say. So if you were asking, like, let's say a roller derby league to change their logos because the logo that they use on most of the team's uniforms uh, has some form of a white supremacy symbol on it, right? So that would be a good reason for a societe that believes in white supremacy, like a skull and bones society, to follow somebody around and try to make them look crazy and try to make them shut up because they're trying to tell that person that everybody already knows they're white supremacists, you dumb bitch. And that's what happened. Um, so in in a crazy ass world, once all of this stuff gets linked up, we can find out who's associated with what, right? Like if people have email addresses with like war in it and shit, war is also white Aryan resistance if you know anything about white supremacy. So I would stay away from people with email addresses that contain war. At least me, unless their last name's like Warman or something. You like when I do the lives though, so you keep filling up my tub. Okay. What does that say? Immigration. Make everyone uncomfortable. Create nonsensical beliefs. Before you know it, everyone gets fighting, and meanwhile, they all make new rules. Are you for or against immigration? I'm for immigration because my mom's an immigrant. My mom came here from another country without a fucking lick of English. So I love immigrants. I have no problems with immigrants. I would like the immigration process to be made more simple so that you don't have a bunch of people who are willing and able waiting around while you have American citizens that think that they're not gonna fucking do that job, right? Uh, it's different. Like I had to negotiate for myself, and I was something was mentioned to me about like taking what you can get, and I saw that comment as uh, just like a, I don't know. That comment was offensive to me though, because if you think about the comment, take what you can get. If you haven't seen everything that you can get, why would you take the first offer? I did. I actually did end up taking the first offer because the next offer, even though it may have been more, the whole way that it was presented made me feel like I made a better choice. Because I don't do things necessarily for money, I do them for happiness. So even if the other job were to have paid me more money, I think that when I looked at the websites, the people looked happier at the other place. I ain't for ones who ain't with the idea of immigration. It's not easy street. Right, right. The people who don't want immigration are the people who want higher wages but don't want to work. So that's the point I was trying to make. I want higher wages, but I'll put in the work. So I think it's like everybody needs to learn how to negotiate versus taking what they can get and then having to become a criminal in order to make up for the rest of it. So when I heard that comment, that's what I thought is the problem with America. Maybe everybody is just out there taking what they can get and not asking for what they need and deserve. No, I want immigration. You didn't hear what I said about immigration? I want um I would like the process to be easier because I think that right now, as it stands, certain people are given a pass and they've set obstacles for other people that should not exist. Like, I wonder, my mom was able to become a naturalized citizen partially because she married my dad, and then the other part was she went and actually did the process. Um, I don't know necessarily what steps were involved, but I know it wasn't easy. And she had an easy time getting into America because of my father. Um, what does it say? You bring in too many at wages that are very tight, we get problems. Right. There has to be some kind of control to it, but what from what I see in the workplace, in my experience, okay, I've seen I don't know if it's a nepo baby. Maybe it's a nepo baby. That's what you would call it. It's a kid that doesn't have to work necessarily, but has a job because his parents told him to get a job. And this kid at my particular the law firm I was working at, uh, he's white male, and we had a system that allowed us to check how much work people were doing. Like we could look at everybody's workload and see where everyone was at. So one day, in order to measure my progress, we had the same job title, by the way, but I had probably 2 decades more experience than him, decade and a half more experience than him. Um, but I didn't go for the higher job title because the lower job title paid me what I needed to survive. So while under the lower job title, even though I have the ability to work the higher job title, I was doing the work of the higher job title just without the title. Uh, I stumbled across his name in the little lookup system. I looked up the matters he was assigned, and in total for an entire year, he had billed $100,000. And I don't know if that was an intentional number or what exactly was going on, but in one year I billed 14 million, like between 14 million and 17 million, something like that. So for him to only have billed $100,000, that means he was not working. What was he doing every day? It makes me wonder if, like, the people stalking me, are there people in places that are hired just to stalk people? Like, that would make sense as to why he only billed $100,000 if that's the case. Because I remember overhearing this guy talk about my bank account one day while I was checking my bank account. So he had access he shouldn't have had to my information. Um, and he's making a high wage for little work. And then you have people who work in the farms and the fields who bust their fucking asses every day. Like, come home sweating, tired, had a full workout and shit, and then the company wants to pay them with the produce. It may end up being a better deal, right? Because if they are illegal, the money trail. So in order to kind of wash out that money trail, the farmer has to pay the worker with the produce, which the worker is then going to sell. So I will always buy. The immigrants create their own jobs. That's what it is. It's they're entrepreneurs. There's no. It's not even job competition. To say that there's job competition is wrong because white people will not work for less, and Mexicans will. It's not job competition. You're mad because that person's going to take the job that you turned down. Okay. Right? I'm not mad. I think there's still plenty, at least for me, there's still plenty of opportunities. And there's still plenty of opportunities for anyone who wants them. It has nothing to do with where you're from. It's your ability to get the job fucking done. So I say bring them all in and let everybody fucking, may the best man win. What you're gonna see is a lot more uh, American citizens become homeless and get jealous over immigrants who have all the fucking money because they worked for that shit. And that's where I stand on immigration. Because even if illegal, even if doing illegal things, I see immigrants putting more work in for their communities than non-immigrants. Non-immigrants, to me, I'm a non-immigrant, are selfish. They take away from communities versus add to them. So you have to be mindful of what the fuck you're doing. I don't want to take away from the community. How can I add to it? First thing for me is acknowledging what adding to the community looks like. So there's a lady on the corner who sells good juice, good fruit juices, vegetable juices. That is adding to the community. You know why that's adding to the community? Because it's fresh. It's not full of sugar. That is making your brain work better. Whatever it is that she's selling. I don't know if she's doing anything on the side. I don't want to know. I know she's selling healthy juice. What you're going to see is a fuck ton of mid-wage people who don't have jobs. Money doesn't exist. The idea of money is real. I agree with you on that. I'm there right now. I'm a mid-wage person, and at the current moment, I don't have a job, but I do have a job. But at the current moment, I don't. I'm in an odd in between. But I have faith because I have the ability to still go out and look for one and get one. And I won't be mad to see immigrants take my position or positions above me if they are qualified. Even if they're not qualified, you could train them up, bitch. I don't care if they get the job over me. If anybody walks in there and says, I can do that shit, give them a chance to do it. Bring more in who are mid. It doesn't matter what mid wage is. A person is a person is a person. If they wanted to leave their country for a better life, don't you think they're going to make a better life here? You think they want to leave their country for a better life to make it worse over here? That doesn't make any sense. Right? If they look at all the homeless people we have, and you have immigrants who see the homeless people we have, and they still want to come here because they know they're not going to be homeless, because they know they're going to work their ass off. Like, I think a lot of people get immigration mixed up with criminal immigrants. Like, there are criminal immigrants, but not every immigrant is a criminal. And you cannot lump everyone into the same category. If you were to do that, you would have to say that every immigrant is a criminal, and that's not true. Why do we have homeless? Because there are people in powers, they try to make me homeless. They're still trying to make me homeless. There's every potential and possibility that they may be successful in making me homeless. And I'm going to tell you why I think we have homeless is because somebody in a high position didn't get the answer they wanted, so they decided to get revenge. That's why we have homeless, because there shouldn't be any homeless people. When you talk to the homeless people who are happy homeless, they're intelligent people who said, fuck that shit, I am not a sellout. That's why we have homeless. Or we have homeless people whose parents should not have been put in dicks and pussies. And that's why we have homeless. Why can't we help everyone? We can help everyone. We're not helping them correctly. We need mental health assistance. It's not all this other shit. We have homeless to make the world's eye to see if it can be worse. No, that's not why we have homeless. I've seen more happy homeless people than I've seen rich people. So it's not all about money. We have to change the way society works as a whole. People should care more about each other. I have to look more into the definition of communism, but I want to say a communist, because I think that we should all put in whatever work that we can do and make that shit work. Like, it's the simple fact that there are people out there whose mental capacity cannot hang. They cannot function. They will be homeless on the street if they don't have someone around them with a higher mental capacity than them. That's why we have homeless. It has more to do with mental capacity than it does with anything. Why do we have homeless? Why do we have pedophiles? Why do we have rapists? Why do we have domestic violence? Why do we have, right? If we didn't have any of those things, we'd have less homeless. You know why? Because if I was a kid in the house with any of those things, I would run away to be homeless. So I love your questions. It's great talking points. Why do we have homeless? Why do we have the Epstein files? I'm from my mother, this planet Earth. Where are you from? Right, literally, this planet Earth. I'm from a planet if you want to get literal. Right. Earth as well. My planet may not be Earth, but somewhere around there. Um. Ooh, what's happening to my pen? Yeah, that's what I wake up and say every day, and then I go out and go get it, and I try. I'm still breathing. Oh shit, I woke up. That's how I wake up in the morning. I literally wake up, open my eyes, put my feet on the ground, and jump out of bed and say, I woke up. And then I'll start talking to my cat. Because she starts talking back. She goes, meow. And I'll be like, meow. And that means she's hungry. She wants breakfast. So, yeah, it's great. Life is great. Being on planet Earth is great. I really think now I should have gone into psychology because I could fuck with a motherfucker. But I don't want to fuck with people. I want them to see that there's better shit out there than whatever their mind is stuck on. You may be, what do you call it? Are you able to remote view? Do you have psychic abilities? Do you like the color purple? Um, all of those things would help you see me. Time is of the essence. But it really is because in any given day, you have 24 hours. Speaking of 24 hours, I gotta go into my journal and record what I've done for the last few. I like that number. You could reverse those two numbers and you would be a lot closer. Um, that's crazy. You made me feel old just now. Oh shit. It sound young. That's nice. Being really nice. Yeah, right. Oh damn, that's how I feel too. I think about it. I still think I'm 18. And then I realize I just turned 42. I just turned 42. I'm 40. Bitch, I didn't think I would make it to 35. So, I do still feel 34-ish. That's about right. I didn't think I'd make it to 35. Depression is real, but so is happiness. Um, some people are depressed just by the people that they hang out with, but they keep going back, and that would be insanity. Like, some people need a timeout, maybe. Jail is a good place, I think. I think for some people, and some people, it makes them worse than they were when they fucking started. But I wonder how many people come out of jail fully rehabilitated because they got the time they needed to isolate from bad influences. Or did they just make more bad influence friends in jail? Because in this outer world jail that is called life, uh, I realized that getting away from everybody that I associated with made my life better, and I couldn't understand why. And then I realized somebody planted a seed in that group of people a long time ago, and none of those people ever liked me. So they 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 kept me around to make themselves feel better for whatever reason. They wanted to compare whatever it was. Maybe they just like to look at my skin and be like, at least I'm not her. I don't know what it was, but um, getting away from those people, and maybe they are still having great lives or whatever, but getting away from those people changed my life drastically for the better, because hanging out with those people included using substances that I don't use when I just hang out with myself. And that's how I know I'm not depressed. Because why do you have to drink alone but you have a lot of friends? Like, why do you feel the need to drink when you're alone but you got a whole phone of friends? Or I don't feel the need to drink with friends or alone. And I feel so lucky that I get to save that money. So I never have understood social drinking, because when I was in high school, I used to drink till I throw up. So seeing my neighbor throw up in the bathtub, it reminds me of immaturity, right? Like, you can't control your liquor. What? Like, your toilet is right there, right? If you was in your right mind, like if that was from some fucking food or whatever, if you was in your right mind, you would have thrown up in the toilet, I think. But you was just like not feeling good and took a shower and said, "Oh shit." Right? That might not even be liquor. That's like some kind of fucked up drug. I don't know. Like, throwing up is weird. Only time I throw up now is if I take fucking pills, and I can't take medication. What else was the last time I threw up? I'm trying to think. Last time I threw up is I had a surgery and I had to take a medication for the pain. Took the medication, within 30 minutes threw that shit up, and then I just had to go the rest of the fucking time without no medication. So, right, I had to be in pain because my stomach couldn't handle how toxic the medication to make the pain go away was. Isn't that crazy? Get away from your friends. Yeah, that's what's making you depressed, is calling people who don't answer, and they're not answering because they want to hurt you. Uh, they're doing things, feels like family, kids, whatever. Uh, no, the phone works both ways. If you call them and they don't answer, it's not just because they're busy. People will answer and be like, "Let me call you back," and then they'll really call you back, and that's a friend. I think if you're feeling like people are being unfriendly to you, just be unfriendly back, and then you'll find yourself. That's exactly what I did, because I was the person, I used to reach out to people, I used to call people, and when they would ghost me, I used to get so sad about it. And then I would feel like something was wrong with me. Like, what happened that made them want to stop talking to me? And then I realized they're just fucking stupid. Anybody who would do that to a person has no consideration, and you should not have consideration for them. Get rid of them. Throw them in the trash. Make new friends. It don't matter how long you've known them. Right now, I've known somebody for more than 20 years, and I love this person as like a sister, but I had to make a decision that the best thing in my life was to get away from this person, because this person is a flying monkey who asks me prying questions and then relays that information back to a hive that then uses that information to do more emotional harm. So I don't talk to this person. And this person happens to be one of the only people who reaches out to me, as if like everybody was told to not talk to me so that they could force more interactions and stuff. I don't know. This all sounds crazy, but I find it hard to believe that I had so many friends in high school and then I just don't talk to anybody now. So whatever happened, whether it be my own fault or not, or just people, like, hazing is real, you know, especially if you grew up in a place like I went to. People, it all goes back to hurt people hurt people. So When you find somebody that you've called maybe 2 or 3 times and hasn't picked up, but then you see them in person and they're still like, we're besties, we're besties. Um, think about that person's childhood, because the trauma comes from childhood, and the reasons that they hurt you comes from things that happened to them in childhood. What place you went to on Earth? What does that mean? Place you went to on Earth? Place I went to. What place I went to? I don't know what you mean on that one. Um, I just know that I've found strangers to be more friendly than people I've called my best friend. And when you find that, that's time to get away from everybody you knew. To be able to find, and it's not because those people know you, it's because those people have taken time to pick apart everything that they don't like about you, but they still want to hang out around you because they see some kind of benefit. Um, so for me, I'm a big person on, if I don't like you, that's going to be the first thing that comes out of my mouth. Uh, but I try not to say things. What is it? The golden rule: treat people the way you want to be treated. If you don't have anything nice, don't say anything at all. So I have a constant battle and a struggle with uh, not saying things. And part of it is because I want to be honest. The other part is I have to realize if my honesty is actually rude. Right? And then I will say that I blame it on autism, because I'm like, I don't have a filter. I don't need to filter that out. Why do I have to make the decision on how you perceive it? Like, why do I have to walk on eggshells to make sure you don't feel like I'm insulting you? If you feel like it's an insult, that's how you feel. Exactly. So you have a good head on your shoulders. It doesn't sound like you need any of those people. If you can sense people's insecurities, you are probably a lot like me, and you should avoid them. Avoid them. I'm not even going to tell you to try to help and change them, because that seems to be a waste of time. Um, for me, it has to be a way of my life, because I have to continue to live. The people around me keep trying to humble me, knock me down a peg, teach me a lesson, and I think that, like you said, those people are insecure people, because people who feel secure in their own place, in their own jobs, in their own whatever it is, they don't focus on tearing down what's around them, because they're too busy building up their own shit. So I just have a team of, I have a wrecking crew around me, and I am the only constructor, is what it feels like. So also look at habits. Like, do you notice if you're hanging out with your group of friends, do you find yourself doing things that you would not normally do on your own? Do you have a strong desire to do things that other people don't want to do? Like, for me, I can spend hours just writing in a book, in a journal, and not saying anything to anybody. Um, or listening to music as loud as it possibly goes and not saying a thing to fucking nobody. Right? Those are things that I enjoy doing, so they don't require a group of people, and those make me the happiest, versus trying to make plans with people who flake. That's disappointment. I used to be there. I used to make plans with people, get ghosted, and then worry about them, because I feel like I'm such a good person. And then what happened, because of how disrespected I would have felt, the worry turns into anger, turns into me being a bitch. So they were very good at being able to portray the narrative of me being an annoying bitch, just simply by making plans with me and then ghosting me? What if someone says something? You have to think like, what's the best that could happen? You always, I think, what's the worst that can happen? But if you trap yourself in a negative thought cycle, only bad things happen. So, like from my example, what's the worst that can happen? As a targeted individual, my information gets doxxed every time I have to put personal information on anything based on how many people are part of this stupid program, this group. So whenever I have to fill out a form that's got my name, my address, my phone number on it, it's almost guaranteed, similar to how, as if I were a celebrity, someone's going to take that information and post it onto the internet so people can use it to harm me. What I have to do is, well, what's the best that could happen? What's the best that could happen is you could get a job that's better than your last job. You can make more money. Well, why would I worry about what's the worst that can happen if what's the best that can happen is so much better? And so, don't be scared to do something because of what someone else thinks. That's exactly where they want you to be. They want you, that's control. That other person is now exhibiting control over you because you're concerned with how they perceive your actions. That's one of the reasons I go forth with saying, I don't give a fuck, because if I were to stop and consider how you perceive me, it would prevent me from getting to the destination that I want to get to. And if I'm not breaking any rules or laws in my route to this destination, anything you say or do has no effect on what I'm doing. You are a gem, my friend, and I think you may be around some people that want to turn you into not one. So I'm sure you might also have, so see, let me see, take that back, because you can't be sure. Might also, I am sure you also have experiences where you find more comfort in conversations with strangers than you do with people that you've known forever. 100% trust yourself. That's part of being confident. That's part of the reason people will look at you. Everything is about body language. You could have nothing, and if you can walk into somewhere with confidence and tell them, I don't know, but I can learn, you can do anything you want to do. Yeah. Don't be at your shit's end. If you know what, you will have served my purpose. You will have made it so I serve my life purpose if the things that I'm saying can help you. Because that's all I want to do. I just want to help one person get out of some fucking bullshit. Yeah, appreciate you. It's better I'm faceless, because then you don't have to focus on, it's like you don't have to focus on what I look like, no comparison. You don't got to think about my history, connections, any of my facial expressions. Work on your own, right? Like when you actually have to look in the mirror and look at your face, give yourself a real smile, and tell yourself it's a confident smile. Don't ask yourself. It's like my mom's training her dog, and I hear her telling the dog to sit down, and she's asking the dog to sit down instead of saying sit down. It's two different ways, and the dog hears you completely differently. If you're telling the dog uh, with sternness to sit down, it fucking sits. Versus if you're asking the dog if it wants to sit down, the dog's gonna look at you like, I don't think I want to yet. You know? So it's assertiveness, confidence, assertiveness. Go forth with it. And have a great night. Yep. Yep. That's all. I should be a mentor or a coach, huh? Thank you. You made me feel good tonight. I'll keep giving out my good informations, because it's no reason to be depressed. tomorrow with whatever you're thinking about. If you ever get to that point in the day where you start doubting yourself, take the self doubt out and say, what's the best that could happen? And then just run. Just run at it. Right? And if you land flat on your face, just know that shit could have happened, right? You cannot, don't set yourself up for failure, but like, go with the wind. Run. What is that? Gone with the wind or whatever. I will. I gotta keep talking to people now. I'm waiting for the plumber to come and take the smelly drug water out my bathtub. Yeah. You stay safe as well. Safety is an illusion. Ikigai is Japanese. That's look that one up. Look that there's so much stuff Japanese people do that helps me be me. Also, I'm part Japanese, so that's part of it. But Japanese culture is basically you cannot fail. Oh, I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but the drink, tell me it's a fruity drink because liquor is gonna add to depression. It's gonna help you figure something out, maybe not the right thing. Uh, I cannot. I have a hard time doing anything with liquor, so that's not something I can. I can't understand that. I don't feel that. I know for me, liquor makes me get into a state where I can't control myself. And if I can't control myself, that makes me feel uncomfortable. Uh, Pure whiskey. Yeah, that's good. Um, Hope it's good whiskey. Shit. Uh, yeah. I used to drink, but I don't feel the need to anymore. And I understand liking things for taste or, but what I want to say, and again, I don't like telling people what to do because I don't want them to take it the wrong way. Um, I just, myself, I believe liquor controls emotions. And I want to be in control of my own emotions. So that's why I don't drink. Because if I drink, that's when I go into like manic texting mode. That is when I'll turn into sad girl because nobody wants to talk to me. So I just have more hobbies. Have you ever used a fountain pen? Um, if you have never used a fountain pen, while you go have your drink right now, start looking at fountain pens. Aw, you don't gotta take me anywhere. You can go take yourself to breakfast and just listen to me talk. I'll probably still be on here talking. Um, but if you ever don't drive though, not if you're gonna have another drink. Safety first, right? Safety is an illusion, but still, other people out there need to be safe. So if you're gonna drink, keep your ass at home or take the bus. Um, but I appreciate your offer. And what I will say is, what is the best that can happen? And then you start. So I live in a fantasy world, by the way. Uh, and I think that helps me get through a lot of the shit that doesn't go my way. Right. You knocked it out the park. Um, when when I come across things that don't go my way, my coping is to go visit my fantasy land where everything goes my way. So, if am I having a day where things just aren't going my way, in my head, I'm in my fantasy land. That's how I'm going to make it through this day because it's not a day where shit doesn't go my way. Absolutely set. I like a pancake. pancake or a chicken finger. You know what's funny? They put chicken fingers in my bathtub yesterday, and they put at least one chicken finger. Well, not a chicken finger, a portion of it. They just bit off a little portion of the chicken finger. Yeah, in my bathtub. They flooded it from the bottom. It's called stacked plumbing. So this thing we have over here, I don't know if they have it where you live, but it's really inconvenient. Instead of each apartment having its own plumbing lines, they stacked them because I don't know, maybe space or laziness or I don't know. But what that means is we are all in a line. This is Los Angeles. We're all in a line, and if somebody on the top gets a clog, theirs gonna clog, right? Only theirs gonna clog. But if that clog gets pushed down the floor, theirs gonna clog, next one's gonna clog. I'll be okay. But now they've managed to push that clog down one more floor, so it's underneath me. No, I'm not from LA. I'm from around. But anyway, that clog is now beneath me, and that's how they were able to force the chicken finger up into my bathtub. Yeah, LA is a crazy place. I don't know if I want to claim to be from here with what I've experienced in the last 6 years. I would never claim it because I wasn't born here and I can't, you know. But as far as like honorary native or whatever, nah. Because it seems like right now it's like a locals only type of hazing going on. And Los Angeles is a mush pot of everybody, so that's why I disagree, and I think it's impossible for them to just tell me to move. The chicken wing tub talk. My stalker neighbors, um, they have the ability to do things that they think are going to make me go crazy. So, whatever program exists, it allows them to get away with some heinous crimes. And one of those crimes apparently is flooding my bathtub. And so that's why I was talking about stacked plumbing. Because this specific building has stacked plumbing, all the shit, it comes up to the bottom apartment. Oh my gosh, don't say that stuff. I'm off the market. Correct. I got so many things to say. I gotta not say them. No, I got a fantasy man. Yep, he's the one, right? Like, wouldn't that be nice? It's like my Cinderella. So that's back to when I think to what's the best that could happen. I'm having a bad day. I think about what's the best that could happen on everything, and that's how you stay happy. Right? Don't be worried about it's not like that right now. Like it might be one day. Right now you might be going through some shit, but tomorrow might be different. Tomorrow you might find, you know what you're going to do? I imagine you're going to find some money on the ground. How about that? Because, you know, I want to ask about like depression and stuff because I wonder for some people, like what makes you depressed? For some people is money, not having money. For some people is friends or not having friends. Family. I'm trying to think, when I was depressed, it was social activities that made me depressed. And I think I was in a stage of finding out that I'm autistic, so I couldn't understand why I wanted to hang out, but I didn't want to hang out. Like, I would often go to places, and then I would use not finding a parking spot as an excuse to just go home. Right? I think back to, like, people telling me, oh, we're over here, like, come on, here's the address, whatever. I get ready, I get in my car, go drive all the way over there. Oh. See, that's what I don't understand. I feel like, and this is just me personally, um, you got to get to the root of it before for it to go away. Like the way you say it makes it sound like it's gonna go on forever, and it shouldn't. It's not. It's just a state of being that's at your current time. You gotta get out of the hole. And I don't know. Do you want to talk about drinking? I'm gonna try as hard as I can to make you stop drinking, and that's gonna be annoying. I don't want to be annoying, but I think that um, drinking controls your nervous system. So, like, you might feel like you right. You might feel like you need a drink, and that's gonna make things better. But at the end, it makes things worse. Like I was saying earlier, a lot of people, I've heard of depression for financial reasons, for social reasons, whatever. And uh, drinking is part of all of that. For me, I didn't like to drink because it cost money. So when I would go out drinking, it would usually be someone's buying the drinks, or we got it at the store before. We had a little party, whatever. And I didn't let drinking put me into debt. So I could never be mad about not having money because I have a drinking problem. And then the next part, the social thing, I realized I don't like drinking because I had to drink to be social. That's what it was. So once I stopped being social, I didn't need to drink anymore. And then all of those like bad feelings went away because I stopped putting the toxic in my body. Toxin. Right. I bet your drinking is like I smoke weed. I smoke a lot of weed. So I feel like if somebody were to tell me to quit smoking weed, I'd tell them to shut the fuck up. So as long as it's not a problem, um, I don't know. Well, let me see. When I was depressed, was I still drinking? I probably was still having drinks every now and then. Um, but I know everybody's different. Like some people can handle that. Me personally, I'm a driver, so if I have one drink, I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna pass that driving test. That's a lie. I remember when I was younger, I used to have a drink and get behind the wheel and drive like a motherfucker because I was like, I'd rather drive than let that bitch drive me. And that's how it was in my high school, right? When you gotta ask your friends to, who's the soberest? Who's gonna drive us home? Bitch, if all of you guys are drunk, you need to sit your ass down. Man, how stupid were we as kids? Right? You look at all your friends like, oh, no, 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 no. She's not driving. Now it's between the three of us. Rock, paper, scissors. Bitch, I am driving. I'm not getting in the car with none of you guys driving. You gotta rock, paper, scissors that shit. Fuck out of here. So, yeah, I always wanted to make sure I got home safe. So, yeah, that was never a problem for me. Doesn't seem like a problem for you. It just seems like that is an outlet for you. For me, I would eventually like to quit smoking weed. Thank you. Um, I was supposed to quit on my 42nd birthday, but I still have some weed left, and my neighbors keep being annoying, so I smoke weed when I get annoyed. And it's a funny situation because they got my apartment so stinky, right? Nothing, well, if it's drugs, it's illegal. I guess they're trying to send me a message like weed is stinky. This is no different than what you do, but it is different because uh, me smoking weed doesn't make it so you can't take a bath or a shower. Me smoking weed doesn't make, maybe me smoking weed makes you smell like weed. Oh, well, you should shut your windows. Right? Like, I don't get it. Well, they used to be able to smoke weed on planes. Why would they say weed is legal in California, but you can't smoke it outside? Where am I supposed to smoke it then? So, uh, flooding my bathtub is not the same as the weed smoke. I will smoke weed as I see fit, as I don't see fit, when and where I see fit. They want me to smoke weed with my door open. That's why they filled my bathtub up like that. That's just that's how I perceive it. That's the pattern I get. That's the message I understand from them. If they wanted me to shut my door, they would stop filling my bathtub up with the fucking water. Right. And then I say them and wanting to because there was some kind of manual manipulation to cause this clog. And uh, I don't know how many off hours calls the building makes for people, but they seem to have a lot of off hours calls in this apartment. This one particular apartment above me. What? You've been awesome talking to. Is that a. You need me to say. Are you looking for voice files? Like two. So, example, one of the voice files that they look for. Two. Two, two, two. They like it when I say two. Another voice file is thank you. On TMZ the other night, they said, in Hollywood, we say thank you. And I'm going to write in on one of the next episodes that I catch. Possibly if I can catch a live episode, I'd like to see if they read my comment. I'm going to write in and I'm going to ask them, what does it mean in West Hollywood we say thank you? Because you guys seem to have a really good laugh about it. And I was just wondering. And then I want to see what TMZ has to say about West Hollywood saying thank you. Yeah. So, how many of these people participate in this fraternity style hazing? There's videos on, wish you the best as well. There's videos on YouTube about proxy stalking, gang stalking being a popular activity at Loyola Marymount University. And then further research reveals it's actually popular at a lot of universities with fraternities and sororities, little secret societies. And so these secret societies control the workforce. It is through these secret societies that they decide whether or not you are employable. And you can be job trafficked pretty easily through human resources departments. When you come into contact with a human resource department that has a sorority member as the person that is your point of contact, um, be careful. It's a whole secret society of people who do everything possible to control narratives and manipulate people and get away with murder. Right? Pascal said some people are saying that it was the Illuminati who killed Celeste. I didn't say that. The Pascal show did. He said other people are claiming. I don't know who other people are, but if the shoe fits, He liked that one. 4:44 a.m. 4:44 a.m. Who? So I'm gonna end this live. I'm gonna end the live and then I'm gonna check back later and see. I don't even care to check on the tub. Just I'll wait for the plumber to get here, whatever.